Welcome to Ctrl+Alt+Narrate, your go-to source for captivating stories and engaging conversations within the world of digital media. We are your hosts, Snisha and Momna. Join us as we learn about the journeys of our incredible guests from the MDM program.
So, William, let's Ctrl+Alt+Narrate your story. Would you like to start by introducing a bit about yourself and your educational background?
Yes, of course. My name is William, or I can go by Nailin Ao as well. I studied architecture back in bachelor's at the U of T. I'm initially from Myanmar, which is in Southeast Asia, and coming here, I'm studying digital media.
So let's now start with some would you rather questions just to warm up before we get to the deep, juicy stuff. So would you rather have to design in complete silence every day or with a constant distracting background noise like a crowded coffee shop?
I think every day is a very permanent thing to talk about.
Fair enough. But that's the point of the would you rather question.
Right. I see the point of it.
Yeah.
I think if I were to choose between a distracting noise and a complete quiet situation, I think if I have to put focus on that work, I would probably go for the quiet environment because I need to put in the focus. But I do enjoy having, music playing. I wouldn't consider music as distracting, so I guess I'll go for the quiet background. Yeah.
That's fair. Would you rather do cave exploring or cave diving? I'm so sorry. Diving.
You're good.
I started thinking of
Finding diamonds in the
I heard
cave.
of cave. No, mining.
Minecraft?
Sorry.
You're fine.
Would you rather do cave exploring or cave diving?
Or climb mountains like Everest and K2.
Okay, I got that question. Either cave diving or climbing a mountain.
Yes.
I think I'll go with climbing a mountain, mainly because I'm claustrophobic. So if I go into those tight spaces, I probably would pass out or hyperventilate.
Fair enough.
So I also like going around in nature. So I think natural areas, the mountains would be pretty nice to go on.
Okay. Would you rather live in a world with no books or no video games?
Okay.
Answer wisely.
That sounded like a threat.
It's not a threat. It's a warning. There's a difference. There's a difference between a warning and a threat.
I would go with video games. I would go with video games. There is a loophole, you can still read in video games. I like the interactive aspect. Mm-hmm. Of course, you can have interactions in books as well.
Yeah.
But to me, I have very little attention span. So if I start reading a book, I would read words, but none of them would stick on my mind. But to be fair, I also just read nonfiction, so it's harder to, focus on what the author's trying to say. So yeah, all in all, I think I would prefer video games over books.
Also, controversial opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Nonfiction is kind of boring. If self-help books, mm-hmm. Totally, I get it. Mm-hmm. But also reading, I think, is meant to cause you to imagine things that are not in real life. Mm-hmm. And I think that nonfiction, the genre, kind of ruins the point of that.
I think to that extent, I think reading, you paint your own world in your head. So yeah, I do agree that,
you're nourishing your mind that way.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah.
So, would you rather have the power to instantly master any skill, but lose the ability to learn anything new after that, or take a decade to master a skill, but have the chance to keep learning forever?
I think I'll go with the taking a decade to learn a skill, to master a skill and keep learning forever. Mainly because I enjoy the process rather than the end product. So if you instantly learn a skill and you master it and you can't learn anything else, I feel like that kind of sets you up, it traps you in this little bubble. You can't learn anything new anymore.
Yeah.
So in that sense, you don't even, for me, learning a skill, you don't need to master it. I feel like if you learn a skill, you can easily, go to 70% expertise, and you can fully say you know a lot, most of that type of skill, and then you can go into another. And I don't think you necessarily need a decade to master a skill. I think it just comes with more exposure and experience. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
He's just good at what he does.
Yeah, I think
well, I try
show
to
off.
I try to do whatever I can, but yeah.
Fair enough. No comment. I'm kidding. I admire it to be that way. I really
Next
do.
question.
Next question.
Next question. Well,
Next person, actually.
we will be having Hannah popping in.
Oh,
So
that's
chaos with Hannah.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I am. I'm well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
No problem.
No problem.
One of my favorite questions that I have written down that I didn't get to ask yet
Okay.
is, if you could replace your hands with anything for a day, what would it be? Like an object. I'm
An
talking
object.
like suction cups.
Okay. That's a good question. I've never thought. That caught me out of left field, so I don't know what to say. I
That's
play
the
a
point
lot
of
of
chaos time.
yeah. I play a lot of sports, so what could be? I play volleyball, so what could be an object? Maybe like a cricket bat or something like that. More surface area for receiving. You can swing your arm and hit at the ball harder, maybe.
Do you play badminton?
I try to I tried badminton with volleyball hand motion, and I think Emily, you're already looking at me. So badminton's more of the wrist snapping, but volleyball is more of the arm, the whole body. So yeah, you can see the difference in that sport. But I think badminton, the badminton racket wouldn't be feasible for volleyball because it's a very thin, yeah.
What about like flippers? Like, like
Flippers?
swimming flippers, but
Swimming
like
flippers.
it's like on your hands. Like, I don't know. I used to play volleyball. I feel like that would give you the good leverage.
Wouldn't it be
Oh.
slippery though?
Not if you don't go in the water.
Oh, right. I'm mistaken hand as in like the whole arm rather than the...
No, like your
starting from the
hand.
wrist.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the flippers be like very short though? They got like tiny little arms like a fish. Great for fishing, great for swimming, but not.
Absolutely love how thorough you're thinking this entire process through.
That's the point of chaos time,
Yes, you
man.
gotta think
That's
The
why
gears
I'm
are
here.
turning.
Yeah, the gears are
Chaotic.
turning. Exactly.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you for coming on.
Bye, Hannah.
Bye,
Thank you for
Hannah.
that question.
So now we're going to ask you some controversial tech or design questions.
Let's go.
Okay, and I'm up first. Is minimalism in design overrated?
I wouldn't say it's overrated. I think it is good to strive for minimalistic designs, mainly because I come from architecture, right? And architecture, they always repeat less is more, less is more. Even in like critiques that I do, you would start off thinking that, whatever many colors you put in, if it's colorful, it would be a great design.
Right.
But then you'll get like bombed on the review and the critique. Like your instructor will be like, no, this not good. You gotta do it again.
That sounds like torture.
Exactly. Like I literally had a friend that was doing a critique. We had like guest speakers or guest
Right.
critique people. They come in and one of them was just like, if this building was designed in real life, I wouldn't be in that space. And I'm like, oh no, poor guy. It was not me though. It was not me who designed it. It was my friend.
I was gonna say.
It was my friend. It was my friend.
Can I say something though? I have never met an architecture student who wasn't like I've never met an architecture student who wasn't not stressed, who was easygoing, or one that was truly happy on the inside.
No, that's definitely fair. Like if I have to describe architecture studio space, I would, if in one word, I would say depressing, because everyone.
Damn, that got dark.
Everyone's suffering.
Yeah, everyone's like pulling all-nighters. You have like a lot of scrap material because we have to build like 3D models
Right.
like physically. Those take a lot of time. So we have like all the materials splatter on the desks.
Yeah.
Everyone, like you have half-eaten food on the table because they had to stay in the studio the whole day. That kind of stuff. I don't miss it.
Oh gosh.
The only reason I would say I'm relatively not depressed is because like halfway through my architecture education, I feel like that's not right for me. So I started focusing on more like user experience design and all that stuff. So that's also mainly the reason why I'm in this program as well. So yeah, getting that switched up.
Okay.
That's great. You really said peace out. Let's just move on.
Exactly.
Move on.
Exactly.
I know,
That's my mood.
You answered
Right?
my follow-up, so perfect. Next one.
So, do we need more fancy tech gadgets, or are we secretly just looking for an excuse to buy cool stuff that we don't need? Or like, what do you think of consumerism?
Consumerism.
Consumerism.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
But to answer your question, though, I'm also trying to be minimalistic with what I own. So I don't really try not to indulge myself in buying like cool tech gadgets and all that stuff. So I do get tempted, though. I'm not gonna lie, I do get tempted. All the advertisements and all that stuff, all online, 24/7. But I think it's a bit of the tech gadgets. If you don't need it, you probably shouldn't buy it.
Yep.
I've heard of this technique that you can do yourself, where you can make like a list of things. If you have an impulse to buy something, you write that down, and the next 30 days you can revisit that list. And if you truly need it, you can then buy that at that point. But if you don't need it, you probably just need to cross that out of the list. I want to quote that, but I don't remember where I heard it from.
I don't think that's going to work on me.
It's worth a shot.
My dad is the best at this. I will shout out Dad. He basically has tried to get me to follow this discipline too. But when you first go and try and buy something, never buy it on your first look. Never just go window shopping. And then if you still need it after like a week, a month or whatever, however long you need to wait, then you can buy it. But he will never do impulsive buying. He's like the most minimalist person I know. And I strive to be that way. But at the same time, I think he needs like an upgrade to his closet, and I want to be rich so that I can spoil him. That's where we're at.
Probably me as well. I need updates to
because
my
he lives
closet.
within his means, and it's honestly a very financially responsible thing to do. But at the same time, I'm gonna splurge. Just letting you know.
It's okay to have differences.
Exactly. So, is it possible to create a fun app, game, or streaming platform without it being addictive? And what's the line between engagement and dependency?
I think the addictive part of an app or a game or a video or whatever is dependent highly on the user themselves. Like they make the app addictive because they like the content a lot.
Right.
Could you repeat the first part of the question again?
Yes. Let me. Is it possible to create a fun app, game, or streaming platform without it being addictive?
Without it being, I think putting limiters or like timers on the app itself might help make it not addictive. Like, let's say you're on Instagram for 30 minutes and then the app literally kicks you out or something like that. But
Her face dropped.
in like a business standpoint, I doubt Meta is going to do that because they're going to miss out on a lot of consumers, right?
Yeah.
So from a business standpoint, I highly doubt in a consumerism world, they're going to do that kind of feature. But for yourself, if you want to get out of that loop of like addiction, then probably putting timers on an app or video or whatever you're addicted to would help.
Very positive answer.
Yeah. Sneesha, what was your screen time for TikTok again?
Wait, did we look at this? Am I supposed to know the answer?
Last week we talked about this.
No, there's important people watching this. I'm not going to perjure myself.
I was gonna say,
I have
somebody
such
needs
amazing screen discipline. I am an A+ student. My GPA is great. That part's not a lie. My GPA is actually really good in masters, not in undergrad. We don't talk about it.
We don't talk about undergrad.
But no, I'm great.
Undergrad.
Please hire me. I won't be on my phone in the middle of a 9 to 5.
I mean, I feel like it's even greater if you have good GPA and also you're indulging yourself in screen time, you know?
Exactly. You're doing it all. You have time for everything.
Right?
Right? Full package.
Thank you for
Exactly.
defending me.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
it. See, exactly.
No, because I'm also in the same boat.
We gotta stick together.
I am too. I'm just projecting.
Wow, I thought we were on the same side
We
here.
are. I'm just,
Cool.
Okay, I mean,
Let's
slowly.
move on to our first segment.
Okay.
Loading Who Are You? Where we
Okay.
ask you very personal questions.
see how personal it gets.
Well, now you're making the first question sound so underwhelming.
Yeah, I know, right? We have our first question, and he's like,
What
"That's not deep." I
projects are
can
you
answer."
involved in and working on? Wow, like
Well, I'm not working in any personal projects right now at the moment. I'm just trying to complete my portfolio so that I can,
Slay.
start applying
Right.
for jobs. Little slacking off on that, I'm not gonna lie.
It's okay, me
we
too.
all?
We're on the same page.
I think we all.
I always have an excuse for that. Like when there's school, I would say, "Oh, there's school assignments. I can't do the portfolio."
It's just daunting.
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
When there's a break, I'll be like, "Oh, it's break. I'm supposed to enjoy
I'm
myself."
supposed to relax. Yeah,
Hey,
I get
no,
it.
it's okay to dedicate like the time. If it's a break, it's a break,
Exactly,
right?
right?
If it's a vacation, it's a vacation. If it's school, it's school.
Exactly.
Portfolio time,
Sometime later.
sometime
It's gonna
later.
happen somewhere. When
When the bank account balance gets low, that's
You
when
need that external
Right now.
Yeah, you need that
motivation.
motivation. That's when you lock in.
Exactly. How's your MRP going? You are doing a really cool MRP.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you
Uh,
doing?
We're doing an adaptive learning platform that's
Oh.
also supposed to be a game.
Yeah.
We're targeting our target audience is Ontario K to 12, basically making learning more engaging and exciting and playful. In terms of the actual project, because the timeline is just 8 months, the scope has to be narrowed down
Yeah.
really narrowly.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of even user testing and stuff like that, because REB research ethics board
Oh
going
gosh,
through that,
RAB.
it's gonna take like a year or even over. That doesn't fit in the 8 months timeline. So we're just basing off of research on the internet and other Ontario education board research. So yeah, exciting stuff.
Yeah, your presentation for the collaborative workshops class that we did, it was amazing. I can't wait for.
I took up all the talking time.
That's probably. I know, I'm kidding. No, your entire team is stacked. You guys
Yeah.
are doing.
That
I'm
sounds really exciting.
It's an
Yeah.
amazing initiative, so I'm really excited to see how
I'm
it turns
grateful
out.
for my teammates as well. They take initiative in their expertise. Rebecca, shout out to her. She does all the project management and all the research and stuff like that. 90% of our content right now is based off her research.
Oh, wow.
We would meet up in every Monday, and me and another teammate would be like, "Oh, we saw this, we saw that," but Rebecca would be fully decked out on the Figma board, and yeah.
Amazing.
And Nehan, shout out to her. She's all graphic design stuff.
It's beautiful.
So,
What she
yeah.
created was. Yeah.
All the little mascot cats and all that stuff, they're
Yeah.
all done by her. Yeah.
I need to see this. I
Yeah.
haven't seen anything, or to be honest, because I'm in a different workshop,
Right.
so I don't know what's going on. But now, I'm more intrigued and I want to know.
Yeah, we'll be linking everyone's projects at the end of the podcast, so everyone has access to everyone's LinkedIn's and
Nice.
hire this amazing guest
Yes,
and
sir.
everyone else that we have on our podcast. So speaking of this program and
Okay.
the project that you're doing, what made you gravitate towards the MDM program specifically?
I think I believe this school compared to U of T is more career oriented. I think
Interesting.
well, some aspects of it. I mean, compared to U of T, for architecture, I feel like they teach a lot of design thinking, which in hindsight, I'm grateful for learning about it. But they focus too much on theory, like writing essays. They bomb you with essays, reading responses every week or something like that. I feel like that was helpful in me having that skill of comprehension and articulating how to
Right.
talk about things and stuff like that. But if you want to go into the job force, you can't just
Rely on theory.
exactly. You can't just write essays and submit it to
Exactly.
your job
Right.
hiring manager, and they'll be like, "What's
Application is important.
Yeah,
Exactly,
it doesn't translate
application.
directly to the
Yeah,
workplace.
it doesn't translate directly. I would say if it's a journey, the stuff that I learned back in undergrad is useful for the end or the end stuff.
Right.
But for the start, you need a little bit more career oriented stuff that you need to.
And you would say that MDM has that here.
Compared to my.
No, I'm just I was curious because we're in UFT, so I'm you chose TMU, which is definitely really different from the way U of T runs things. So I was like curious as to like, you know, like
Well, compared to, I guess, my undergrad experience, yeah. Also because I wanted to learn more about user experience design, which I wasn't focusing on in undergrad.
Right.
That also one of the main reasons that I'm in this program. Yeah.
Okay.
that's good to hear.
Is it? Is
How do you
it?
follow up after
Sorry,
that?
that sounded so fake. Honestly, we're happy that
that's
you're
okay.
here. We're happy that you're here. You're a person who definitely has so much to offer and also is working on a really dope project that
Yeah, it's
I would love
insane.
to see at Industry Day.
Wish I thought of it first.
Right?
It was a good journey to get to that decision as well. There was
Yeah.
multiple things that we had to tweak around. So bumpy road, but we got here in the
Yeah.
end.
Right?
And it's going to be great for Industry Day. Please, everyone watching, show up to our Industry Day.
Show up.
Show up.
Gotta give them the dates.
Exactly. Oh, you're so right. We'll do that later.
So, what is one quote that you'd like to live by?
I go by a lot of quotes, but the one that sticks around a lot would be going with the flow, which, you know, I try to stick by. I say I go by a lot of quotes, but sometimes I contradict myself. Going with the flow is more towards like, you know, if something goes wrong, you don't really dwell on it too much, or you don't think about it too much. Kind of like I'm getting into more of like a stoic mindset where
Stoicism is, yeah.
exactly, like if something bad happens, can you do anything about it? Yes, then do it. No, then don't think about it. It's just the way it is, you know.
I want to be like that. It's a
Yeah.
struggle for me.
I say this, but I also want to be like what I said.
I think you're doing good though, from what I've seen, at least
Yeah.
program wise, courses wise. It's hard to implement. It's really hard to
it
implement.
is. It is definitely hard
So,
to.
Yeah.
would you say you don't crash out really?
I try not to. Like, it's also it's not black and white. Sometimes it's
True.
like if you know, put it in to yourself a lot, you kind of like sometimes blow up at some point, which I'm trying to not do. Sometimes you boil up your
Yeah.
like patience level, and then at some point you blow up, and that's also kind of like leading to the stoic mindset.
Right.
So in a way, I try to be in the middle of like, sometimes you need to vent, sometimes you shouldn't vent, that kind of thing. Yeah.
That's very wise. I will be trying to put this into practice.
Yeah, stoicism
Me too.
stoicism's on my bucket list now.
Oh, yeah,
I mean
for
it has
sure.
been, but it's like definitely something that takes a long time. Well, it actually depends on the person. It takes like time to really like
Yeah.
hold on to that like
Yeah.
mindset and like that energy and the way you like exhibit your emotions, and you have to have a lot of emotional intelligence and not crash out.
It's
Emotionally intelligent too.
Yeah,
Another
he's
aspect
emotional-
that you want to hire.
It's easier.
Talented.
It's easier.
He's got an architecture background. He does UX design. He's doing like look at the list is getting longer.
It's easier. Not gonna. It's easier to say it in hindsight when you're not in the moment, of course.
That's fair.
Yeah, but yeah, you try your best. Try to make the best out of things.
Well, thank you for sharing.
problem.
Honestly, I really like your perspectives. They're very refreshing.
Yeah. So now to get a layer deeper, we're gonna do a deep dive with no edits.
Okay, let's go.
So, if there were no obstacles in your path, what would your ideal life be like?
Obstacles. I would say like introspectively, I would say like obstacles make you the person you are today. Like without those obstacles, you wouldn't be the person you are, right? So in a way, I don't know, if there weren't any obstacles in my life, I feel like I'll be a little spoiled brat. I'll be like, oh, everything belongs to me, I need happiness. If I don't
That's
have
one way to put it
honest.
for sure.
At least you're honest.
No, like I think everyone needs a little splash of reality once in a while where you don't get something the way you think you should get.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
Yeah.
Without those, I feel like you would just be like, you would just want everything to your accordance. So it'd be like something bad happens, something little bad happens, you'll crash out immediately.
That's true. It does teach
Yeah.
patience too.
Exactly, yeah.
But let's say like if I'm gonna be like devil's advocate here.
Oh no.
If you really like didn't have anything to struggle like for, or if you didn't have any obstacles, like if it wasn't like, doing UX and, coming from a background of architecture, what would you have done? What would you have wanted to eventually become that didn't require as much as it currently needs?
I think I would say getting employment itself is also it's an obstacle.
Yeah.
And having to, sustain yourself, finding income and working and all that stuff is still an obstacle. If those were out of the question, I would probably just be chilling on a beach and, I can't drink liquor because I'm allergic. So sipping on water or some like lemon juice or something.
The bubbles.
And yeah.
Mocktails.
Yeah, just chilling on the beach. That would be the ideal life,
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. We accept everybody here.
That's good to know.
I mean, I retract my statement earlier on like being harsh about the video game thing. I'm being
She's
more.
coming around, y'all.
No, I mean, I still agree. I'm still.
Never mind.
I'm still stubborn on my point, but I'm understanding where other people are coming from.
Different perspective.
Character development.
Character development within one episode. Let's go.
Speed's increased.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, how do you get your motivation back when you feel burnt out?
That's a good question. Because, I'm always procrastinating on my portfolio. I think I don't have a specific like method of finding motivation. It's more like, snapping yourself back to reality. And it's just like, I have this strategy that I found online. Again, I can't quote because I forgot who I found it from. But, counting from 3 or counting from 10 in your head, once you hit that mark, you start doing something.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
I feel like the act of starting is the most hardest. Yeah, but when you start, it becomes easier. Or the what's it called? The 2-minute rule, where you do something for 2 minutes, and if you feel like continuing, you can continue.
Yep.
Yeah. So those kind of like little strategies are helpful when I'm trying to find motivation again.
I follow those too. You have like the complete productivity package. Wow, I'm very
Productivity
jealous.
package. Yeah, he procrastinates.
Yeah.
I feel like that's usually what it is.
Yeah.
Like, people who they understand how like, with the different methods and like how to really be productive.
Yeah.
But that's, I feel like, in a sense, what causes you to procrastinate.
Like
Yeah,
procrastinating on productivity
Right?
videos.
Yeah.
You
Right.
feel the fake productivity.
It's like, I can do this, so just I'll do it later.
Exactly.
So we all took Diana's class and we had a discussion about failure.
Right.
So what are your feelings on failure? And what would you say to somebody, me, that takes failure really harshly?
Well, I think also coming back to architecture, right? You have critiques that are critiquing on your designs that you worked all-nighters, like 7, not 7, maybe 7, 7 all-nighters in a row or something.
What?
Like I don't
Whoa.
think. No. I guess I retract that.
Architect student life
I was
in
like,
undergrad,
Two.
casual days.
My brain
just
didn't
say-
catch up with that at all.
Let's just say two all-nighters. Let's go. You work hard on that drawing and you post it up in critique day, and some instructor or even guest instructor just bombs on you and be like, oh, why is this chair over here? Why is this green space this useless or something like that? Get devastated. I feel like coming from that multiple experiences, you really need to get that was it harder shell or thicker shell or something?
Yeah,
thicker
yeah,
skin or
thicker shell.
something?
Thicker skin.
Thicker skin. There
Thick
you go.
skin, yeah.
Yeah. So like I feel like it just comes with practice. The more you hear, well, it's bad to hear harsh things, but like the more you get experience with that, the more you'll develop. Like sometimes you can I swear in this?
Great question. No
Okay.
swearing.
So sometimes you just gotta say like get
Screw this.
screw
Yeah.
this, screw the world. Like I can do whatever I want. That kind of attitude.
Yeah.
But in a healthy way. Like,
Yeah,
you
of
can
course.
always just
Manifesting style.
Exactly, right? Yeah, you wanna protect yourself as well. Like all the negative comments and all that stuff. Sometimes the other person, you never know what they're going through as well. Sometimes they might be having a bad day.
Yeah, exactly.
So just look on the bright side.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Look on the bright. Okay.
All right, time for our next segment, trending or crashing. You want to start us off, Momna?
Sure. Sorry. What do you think about the 4 a.m. productivity lifestyle, specifically the obsession with morning routines?
Morning routines. I am a routine person, but not that kind of like hardcore. I think 4 a.m. is just
Hardcore.
Too hardcore. But then again, my parents, my mom does the family business. We make noodles back home,
Oh, wow,
and
nice.
that requires waking up like at those hours
Right,
to prep, because we make raw noodles that we sell it to the restaurants, and the restaurants, they open early, right?
Yeah.
So they need those raw products early on. So in that sense, like, she has to do it. But as for me, I try to be a morning person, but I would say like tweak 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. and I'll be on board. 4 a.m. is just too hardcore. Like, when do you
100%.
even go to sleep if you want to
Good
wake
question.
up at 4 a.m.?
8 p.m., 9 p.m.
No,
That's
I
too
don't-
early for me. That's
No,
my dinner
too-
time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, not dinner time, but
What time do you eat dinner?
Yikes.
6, 7.
See, that's a healthy lifestyle.
No,
I have
that's
a very
healthy.
unhealthy
I
lifestyle.
would get hungry at like 10.
Yeah, I get hungry
If I-
so often.
Well, these days I do indulge myself in snacks like popcorn or something like that, or like a protein wafer or something like that. But
Protein wafer.
That sounds really tasty, actually.
That sounds healthy still.
Please bring some for us.
it is sweet though. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nothing wrong with that.
Questionable snack.
A snack is
Supposed
a
to be
snack.
healthy.
If it's healthy, it's healthy.
It has protein in it. That's
Exactly.
enough for me.
All right. So, standing desks and treadmill desks, are we improving focus or just trying not to feel guilty?
Improving focus. Oh, the standing desk.
Yeah.
And I think it's just trying to solve something that you're guilty for.
Oh.
I don't know. Like, I feel like if you want physical activity, you should just go outside, take a break, and then do your own physical activities, not, multitask.
I was going to say, based off of the conversations I've seen online around this, because I am a person who did get one of those
okay.
walking pads to work while standing up. One, I've barely, to be honest, used it, but also based off basically what I was saying, what I've seen online is that people have to use it because working in like corporate America, they don't get that leisure of like leaving.
Okay.
So they're like, okay, like if we're stuck here, we might as well just do that.
I guess in that sense, if you don't have a choice, then definitely it would help. Having, a little bit of physical activity while working. But all in all, I've read this book called Make Time. Basically, you would underestimate the amount of time that basically you have more time than you think you have. Yeah. So like those little time blocks, if you really think about it, you have more free time than you think you have.
Yeah.
And those free time can be used to,
Touch grass.
touch grass, definitely.
All right. So now we're coming to our last segment and we are running a little thin on time. So Mamna and I are going to ask you 2 random questions.
All right, let's go.
So 1, if you could design the logo of your life, what would it look like?
That's a good question because I'm also trying to figure out what logo I should have for my portfolio. So
Right.
in terms of color, I like blue. So something along the lines of like something blue. And I do kind of want to represent my country as well.
Yeah.
And I think the gold color, everyone talks about like gold back home. Like we have Myanmar is primarily Buddhist, so there's a lot of pagodas and all that stuff. So kind of like gold color in it. And in terms of the visuals, I have no idea actually. I don't know what visuals I want to put in there because it depends on the context, I guess.
So, which fictional character would you hire as your personal assistant?
That's another good question. I watch a lot of anime, so I guess fictional characters.
I would love to know now.
you know, obvious choices, you would pick all the smart people, right? So maybe like
That's true.
like Dr. Stone, Senku from Dr. Stone. If you've watched it before, he knows everything. You know, pop
Does
him more or less. If it's scientific, then he would know something. Or even like from Naruto, Shikamaru.
Love Shikamaru.
Yeah, I feel like I also relate to his like mindset of being lazy and try to be smart. Like
Lazy,
I'm not as smart as Shikamaru, but I'm
Lazy,
as
stoic, like
exactly
gets it done eventually.
I'm not as smart as him, but I'm lazy as him. So, all the bad qualities. Let's go.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure having you on. Thank you
No, it
so
was a
much for
pleasure.
joining us, William. And thank you so much for making the time to also come on here. I know it's a very intensive process and very stressful with school, but
No,
thank
that's
you.
okay. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for being
Yeah, we had so much fun hearing your answers and perspectives. It was really refreshing and really like can't wait to see the work that you put out.
Yeah, can't wait to share it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you to our audience.
We hope to see you in the next episode.
Yes, we do. Be there. Or be square? I don't know.
Be square.